All right.
The complete what's the noun form or adjective form of unnecessary? Or noun form of unnecessariness. It's a complete non-necessity of you saying that phrase.
Okay, so just so we're clear, peach, fine. Sharing, no.
I mean, sharing is, I don't know. It's just.
Anyhow, who's ready to start the show?
I am. We're live now. We are on air. You guys ready for a countdown?
Yes.
You ready for a countdown, John?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? It is Game That Tune back in the house once again. It is ya boy, John Harrington here. We got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
And we've got David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
Hell yeah, fellas. Welcome back. It is so good to be back. This is Game That Tune, episode 158. We are just moving right along, kicking ass, and playing games. And if you're just joining us here on Game That Tune, what we're going to do is we're going to play some video game music. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess each other's games based on the songs with a little bit of trivia. We're going to goof off, have a lot of fun, talk a bunch of nonsense. And the winner at the end of the night gets to pick a theme for the next episode. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and
Sorry.
based on... Where was I? The winner at the end of the night gets to pick a theme for the next episode and play some bonus tunes. And our winner last week, the fantastic Mr. PlayStation himself, Jesse Moore, was our winner.
Hey.
Yeah. That's your name, right? You're Mr. PlayStation.
Am I?
Yeah. the PlayStation legend won the game last week. And what theme did you pick for us for tonight's episode?
Well, in honor of that kick-ass Sega Genesis Mini, Sega Genesis games.
No, it's fine. Keep going.
That was... What do you mean keep going?
Johnny was opening a bottle directly into his fucking microphone.
That's
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, so what's the theme for this week's episode, Jesse?
Genesis games.
Fantastic theme. I am ecstatic about this theme because if there's one system I've played more than any other system... No, we're running this joke into the ground. This is not going to be my week. Genesis games, not my wheelhouse. But Johnny and Jesse should have a blast, and I'm sure David's picked something fantastic.
Oh, we're going to have a blast processing is what we're going to have.
See, that was the alley-oop, son, and you just slammed it home. I like it. Yeah, we got 5 great games on the show tonight. Fantastic Genesis or Mega Drive soundtracks. So yeah, I think we just gotta jump right into it, man. Johnny, what do we got coming for game 1?
Game 1.
All right.
Hey, I don't like whatever this is.
I mean, it's
I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, it's got a great fucking soundtrack, man, and it's our fan request for the night. This one came to us from Kelly Yum over on YouTube. Thank you very much, Kelly Yum, for this request. And this game improved on its predecessor in several ways, with animated scenes, voice acting, as well as, you're hearing it, a new original score. All right, guys. You got to be feeling good about that.
I think those lyrics were a
Nope.
hint.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's only 10 or 12 hints in the lyrics. Come on, John. He says
Really?
rock and roll racing CD, which is terribly incorrect. Because David, actually, okay, so Jesse says Spider-Man versus Kingpin, which is correct. And David is the most correct. This is Amazing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin.
Yet at the same time, I feel we are all wrong because the theme of the show is Sega Genesis, not Sega CD.
Yeah, John, you were not lying when you said the Sega Genesis is not in your wheelhouse. Because the Sega Genesis did not have CD quality audio built into the console. That came via the Sega CD.
I know.
Yeah, in the hands of an untalented composer, it sounded like a guitar taking a shit most of the time.
I was
So
surprised when you. I was surprised in your trivia when you're like fully animated cutscenes and voice acting on the Genesis.
yeah,
Okay.
so
see,
someone bamboozled you, John.
the Sega CD was an add-on to the Genesis. I thought it was fair game. And
No.
if you
we
look
even
at the
talked
actual,
about it in DMs.
if you look at the actual game, it still looks like a dog shit Genesis game. They just added a bunch of, they polished that turd. Like,
No,
it's-
the Sega CD required a second power adapter. Ergo, it is a second console as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
And
But
one
it
of those
plugged
big
in-
fucking block ones. So you better have a fucking power strip that can handle all those stupid blocks.
Oh, I miss the old blocks. I love being able
Oh.
to actually plug in consoles now. But yeah, I mean, come on, Johnny, it's lock-on technology.
Oh,
It's
I hate that.
it's all good, right? Like,
No. Look,
um,
look, I've got this glove, and I figure we just pretend like it never happened.
whoa! Wait, hold on, you can't just deploy it just like that. You gotta give me a little more lead in.
That's what you told me to do.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't ready.
I'm
I thought
sorry,
we were just
Jen-
gonna- I thought we were
operating a lot
calling
of
it in the
things
ring,
here.
brother.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I thought it was still a somewhat valid request. You got to plug that Sega CD into your original Genesis, and I thought the good rock music from composer Spencer Nielsen would be good enough to make the show. I mean, that guy he composes other Genesis games, and it would give us a chance to talk about Spider-Man because Far From Home's coming out soon. I mean,
Well, if you win, you can make the theme superhero games or fucking Sega CD games. I don't know.
Do Sega CD games.
No, I don't want to do that at all. I don't want to
We
do
can all
this
take
theme.
Night Trap or fucking plumbers don't wear ties or whatever.
Oh Jesus. Okay, yeah, maybe the Sega CD was a mistake. But yeah, I mean, like I said though, this still is just like a crappy Spider-Man beat 'em up game. Like if you look at videos of this, it's like, oh wow, I think that's what threw me off. It's like, isn't Sega CD supposed to make the game better? Like this looks like it came out on like DOS. Like this, this looks like some old school like cartoonish point and click bullshit, but it's actually a Spider-Man beat 'em up, and it's got cool villains and stuff. It's I mean, like that supporting cast is just fantastic. You got the Dr. Octopus, Kingpin. Kingpin's there in the title.
Sure
You know
as
about
hell
that.
hope Kingpin is in the game. Jeez.
It's got Electro, and not the Jamie Foxx Electro, like the good
Aw.
Electro. It's got Vulture, and guest appearances and stuff. The Sega CD version has Bullseye.
So
for all
there's
you
a Genesis version.
maybe I don't know. This is the only version I'm aware of. The Sega CD thing also has Typhoid Mary. David, tell us who that is.
Typhoid Mary, if I'm not mistaken, is a mutant assassin who partnered up or fought with Daredevil a lot.
Oh,
No, I thought Typhoid
I'll
Mary
take
was that lady who gave a bunch of people typhoid fever.
That's what she's named after, John.
Jesse,
I
I
mean-
kind of want you to snap us back because I want to forget all these terrible things John said about the Sega Genesis game looking like a DOS game. Like, I don't want to have those memories anymore.
I mean,
There's
I
so
was
many
sitting
reasons
here,
to snap.
I was like, you know what? Maybe John's got a point. And then once he brought up in the Sega CD version, it's like, I don't think this counts.
it's because there's also Master System versions and like
Ooh.
PC
There you
something
go.
or other. I mean, like it came out on a bunch of things, and I think it was just a shitty beat 'em up on all of them. I mean, Marvel didn't have creative control over any of this. They were just like licensing their shit out to everybody. So somehow somebody was like, yeah, let's just make a Amazing Spider-Man specifically versus the Kingpin. Like, it's not an issue of a comic. It's a fucking video game. Like, how are you going to call it Spider-Man versus the Kingpin and then have him fight 20 villains? I mean, like, it'd be cool if it was just him versus the Kingpin over and
Oh my
over
God.
again. Like, that darn Kingpin.
oh my god, like Into the Spider-Verse, right? Like, it's all different each level's a different Spider-Man, different Kingpin.
Dude, yeah. Nothing but Spider-Mans and Kingpins. And all the Kingpins reflect all the Spider-Man changes, too. So it's like,
yeah.
comes from the all Gwen universe. So it's King Gwen. And
I just, now all I want is a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse that's like a rated G cartoon animated wacky adventures titled Oh That Wacky Kingpin.
yeah, that darn
And it's still
Kingpin.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes.
Oh yeah, or the
Liev
cartoon
Schreiber.
version. Lee Schreiber did a pretty fine job.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, looks like Sabretooth, sounds like Kingpin. But yeah, no, I think this game's terrible, and I could, I don't want to have to like redo anything, so I vote that we just keep it on the show and move on to game 2.
I'm snapping.
Game. Game 1.
I heard it, Joe.
All right. So this game has you fighting some classic. I'm sorry, this Sega Genesis game has you fighting some classic supervillains, such as the prankster Metallo and Mr.
Mixie Spitlick.
Mixie, that one.
God damn it.
All right, guys, who's got some answers for me? All right, so David says Superman, Jesse says Superman, John says Superman 64 for Genesis. These are all correct. So I have literally never heard of any of these supervillains, so I really thought that my trivia was not that hard. I mean, was like not a giveaway because,
Really?
You've never heard of Metallo?
No, who the fuck is
Brainiac?
Misty Balik or whatever that one is?
Mr. Mixia Spitlick. I put it in the chat.
I did not mention Brainiac because I figured maybe people have heard of that one because he's like the main boss of this game, so I mentioned the others.
Yeah, but John, you're talking to David Fleming. Like,
That's
what
true.
are you thinking, dude? Like,
When I have to pronounce your trivia for you, it's a pretty good idea. I know what this game is.
yeah, you really should have done your research on that one first by asking David, like, hey, how well do you know DC Comics? Like, if I name some obscure. Let me just name some obscure supervillains for you, and David will just be like, "Those aren't obscure at all." Like, he will give you the matter of fact, like, "What, Mister Mixie Spitlick? Like, fuck off! That's my best friend." Like,
You don't get beers tonight.
yeah, exactly.
I love the idea too of like, oh, I should check with David to know if he knows this kind of obscure comic character. When literally last game they're like, David, tell us about Typhoid Mary. Oh, so you mean like
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's a ballsy move, John. But anyway, so it's Superman for the Genesis.
Yeah, and
which
really
is a thing.
It really is the Superman 64 for Genesis. It's just not a very good game.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to play a Superman game where you don't have most of Superman powers? Like, have you ever wanted to play Superman but not be able to fly or use heat vision? Then do I have a game for you?
Isn't that like just most beat 'em ups?
Yes. So the way this game works is Superman's, he can jump and kick and punch, and that's about it. And then you'll have a power up that gives him a power for that specific section of a level that you got to beat. So, there's areas where you got to do like a spin move to go through the ground. You have to find the spin power up to go do it, kind of thing. And there are levels where you fly and use your heat vision as like a side-scrolling shooter kind of thing, like a shmup. And then other levels are just like your standard platformer or beat 'em up kind of thing. And yeah, apparently in early press release copies for review, they had a glitch where they had some of the wrong power-ups, to where if you grab the wrong power-up, like there was just nothing you could do, and you had to reset the game. Like you just couldn't finish.
That's
the level.
funny.
I wish they left that in, but no, they managed to fix it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not for the reviewers.
It'd be funny if they couldn't figure out how to actually fix it. And be like, those power-ups are made of kryptonite. He made a big mistake. He shouldn't have grabbed those. Game over.
There's
he's
actually
dead, fellas.
There's actually a good Superman game for Genesis too. The Death of Superman. That one,
Ooh.
your A button is your heat vision, and you can charge it, and it does not hurt you. So that's already plus. And your B button is your punch, and then C is your jump. And if you hit it twice, you can fly. If you hold A and B at the same time, you spend one of these little power-up things to fly in the air and then drop down and do like a big, like seismic toss thing that like makes everyone hurt. It's pretty cool. Beat 'em up. Way better than this Superman.
I like that.
Yeah, this game's
But the question on, so you said Death of Superman, like, do you just always lose? Like, is there any way to beat the game?
I've only fought Doomsday twice, and the second time he killed me. So
second time he looked more like a big shit monster, and Wonder Woman showed up.
yeah. The first time he still had some green on him, and then the second time he was all like, Doomsday, and he fucked me up.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's just a big angry man made of nothing but sharp bones.
Yeah,
Doomsday's my kind of 90s guy. I love that guy.
I had always thought, because like people complain that like a Superman game is too hard to do because like Superman is so powerful. Like, how do you make this fun? It's like the easiest way to do it is like Lex Luthor or Brainiac or Darkseid, whoever has like red sun generators, so you start off with no powers, and like at the end of each level you destroy one, so you get a power back. So like by the end of the game you're fucking Superman, but you feel empowered throughout the game because you're getting all your stuff back. It's like that doesn't seem like it would be hard to do.
Yeah, that'd be good. Another take.
Did you just think of that, or have you because I was gonna say, if you thought of that off the dome right now, then no, that really should have been an idea by now. Like, or have you been thinking that for years?
I think like there was like a Superman, either a Man of Steel game or like a Superman Returns game. People were like, Superman just doesn't work in video games. And I remember thinking, it's like, well, no, you could do it if you just added all of those powers to him. Like, don't start off as God.
I was gonna say, like, don't they frequently in the comics find ways to take Superman's powers away from him? Just choose one of those. It's a goddamn comic. It's not that hard to justify Superman not having his full power set all the time. Like,
I'd like a Benjamin Button style Superman game where you start off with all the powers, but after every boss you lose a power. And by the end you're just like a regular guy.
You're a little kryptonite baby.
I was gonna say every single boss just like shoots you with kryptonite, and you don't remove it. You just have it stuck in you for the rest of the game. So by the end, you're just like a normal dude with shards of kryptonite sticking out of you.
So there was a Superman game, I think, for the 360, and their thing was that the city had a health bar. Like, Superman didn't have the health bar, but the city did. So like if you were just like hanging out at the beach as Superman and the city was getting blown up, then you were fucking up. But
that's funny.
Otherwise, you're saving the city, then the city's like, but I think that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to do it.
Depending on the size of the world, if Superman's hanging out at like fucking whatever Metropolis's version of Coney Island is, and somewhere up in Metropolis Harlem, like a bank robber gets away, like, oh no.
I would love it if they just called it Metropolis Coney Island.
Feel powerless against
Harlem.
Damn it! I was on the bumper cars.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, the whole point of the game is Superman can't possibly be everywhere at once.
Superman has to take the Staten Island ferry for some reason. I'm sorry, the Metropolis Staten Island ferry.
I love the
damn red sun generators.
I love the idea of Superman in bumper cars, like everybody slamming into him and him just not moving.
I mean, that raises the question about Superman's powers. Are they dampened by a bumper car? Like, if Superman gets in a bumper car and he gets bumped, is he still Superman?
Like, they're magic.
Oh God, I like the idea of just Superman walking onto a bumper car thing, just kicking all the bumper cars away. Like, up yours, children. Oh, that's really going to affect the city's health bar. Superman's kind of a jerk.
God, he's broken like 3 skee ball tables.
He threw that skee ball through the next galaxy. That motherfucker.
I'm really looking forward to Action Comics number 930, Superman, Up Yours, Children.
I think that's part of like the Kingdom Come. Like, it's just old Superman like tilling a field, and some kid comes and it's like, "Can you save everybody?" No, up yours, children. Yeah. I'm old now.
Had to ride the bumper car.
But anyway,
the kid just accidentally the kid accidentally throws his baseball into Superman's farm, and he just throws the kid into the fucking sun.
Oh God, Superman Torino would be pretty good. Kids, get off my lawn!
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God,
that's fucking Superman. We should probably get off his lawn.
According to Frank Miller, I'm sure Superman would turn out like that too.
Oh yeah, no question. But yeah, so none of that's at play in this early Superman for Genesis. This is the Sunsoft Superman, John, right?
Yeah, so it does have that cool Sunsoft soundtrack going on, which is why I
love that.
Soundtrack is quite good.
I feel like that's going to be a theme tonight. Soundtrack quite good.
Oh shit.
That's what I'm anticipating. But and Johnny, anything else on Superman? Your favorite superhero?
Yeah, I love that guy. I love the guys he fights. I think the prankster is my favorite supervillain. As far as I can tell, he's just like a regular guy. I don't quite understand how Superman just doesn't like punch his head off in one punch in this game. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Well, he's a Flash villain for one, isn't he?
No, the Trickster is a Flash villain.
Trickster, that's right. Fuck.
I'm kind of surprised they went with Prankster and not Toyman, because Toyman's kind of more well known. Like Prankster is a deep cut.
Yeah, I'm surprised that any of these guys are on Superman's radar because, again, like, Superman can't really be done in by a prank. He can be mildly inconvenienced. There's saran wrap on my toilet seat. I'm just going to use heat vision on it. That's no problem.
This dollar bill has poop on it.
God, that needs... Is that what Prankster does? I don't want to go into a whole thing. We have to move on. But David, is the basis of Prankster that he just plays mild practical jokes on Superman?
Oh
I mean,
God,
like all
it's
of
just
his
the impractical jokers.
all
Oh,
of
God,
his
it's
weapons
Mark.
are based around like childhood prank type things. So they're that, but with a deadly edge.
Okay.
Like,
but-
the Joker's like acid squirting flower. It's kind of like that.
So like kryptonite
Okay.
dog poop. Like fake dog poop, but it's made of kryptonite.
Sure.
Oh, seems some irresponsible person forgot to scoop. I better pick up this dog poop. Ah!
Someone
shit,
forgot to
literally.
scoop this glowing green dog turd.
Wait, is crypto nearby?
Anyway, yeah. So, all that and more on our later discussion of various pranks to play on Superman. That's all part of the post show. And great pick, Johnny. Let's keep it going.
Oh man.
Game 2.
As players become successful in catching fish, they become stronger and more adept fishermen themselves. This system operates similar to a role-playing video game. All right, how you guys feeling?
Okay.
Well, I'm hoping that trivia is as big of a giveaway as it seems.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, let's see what we got. Oof, fuck. All right, so John says Bassmaster's Classic, incorrect. Johnny and David have King Salmon, which is correct.
Did you just say salmon?
He did.
Salmon. Salmon. It's one of those words that I say differently every time.
Like pecan.
It's
Yeah.
that game was Salman Rushdie, the author. Yes.
Yeah. But
or is it Salmon Rushdie?
So this game is a
Somebody's
pretty
gonna
fun
like
little
that.
fishing game.
Uh-huh.
I was going through a bunch of Genesis games, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what is this?" And it's pretty cool. You can well, I knew it was a fishing game, but you drive
Look at this
around-
game name, King Salmon.
King
Well,
Sourman.
King
Salaryman.
Saruman. Nope, let's get into Japanese racism. Okay, King Salmon.
So,
Refocus.
I thought we were going
drive
into
around in
Middle
a
Earth.
little boat, and you troll behind you, which I haven't seen a game that does that. I don't think, as far as fishing games. And so once you start trying to catch fish, a little thing pops up, and with your fisherman, and you hit the button to make you pull up, and then you go into this fighting fish mini game. What is it? Oh yeah, so you can either pull it back, and it's like a typical fishing game at that point. But then there'll be little cues where it'll pop up like, "Hey, the fish is going deep underwater. What do you want to do?" And you get 3 little options, and it's kind of RPG like that. And then once you pick one of those, something happens based on if you did the right thing or not. And when you catch your fish, you level up and stuff, which is kind of neat. So it makes it easier. But one thing that's really cool, the composer is Masaharu Iwata, and he's worked on so many good soundtracks. It is crazy.
That's cool. Because how'd they get him for this fishing game?
I get that. I mean, fishing games seem to be pretty popular for a while. I mean, Sega had a bunch of different fishing. I mean, they even had fishing peripherals for the Dreamcast.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
that's
for
true.
some reason, Sega loves fishing games.
I mean, maybe it's a Japanese thing or something. Because there's a lot of fishing mini games and things, and to get a guy like Masaharu Iwata for King Salmon is kind of ridiculous. Because he really King Salmon wrote him the blank check, and then he got to cash it with Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
And all these other crazy games after he worked on Children of Mana and Final Fantasy 12 and
Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur 4, apparently.
This guy did the music.
What a career. And the jump off, maybe not the jump off was King Salmon, but
I would say he's the King Salmon of video game composers.
Wow. See, I don't want to get into this debate because it's tough to quantify such things. But he could easily be the King Salmon, assuming that King Salmon means something like 12 best composers.
Yeah. He's easily top 12.
Why not? The guy works and he does fucking good work. So, I'll endorse that. So Jesse, have you actually played King Salmon? Have you performed a I am terrible at video, or are you actually very good at King Salmon?
Maybe we'll see Friday. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not good at it. I for some reason can only catch silver salmon, and not basically it gets real shitty. It's oh, nice catch, but you need to find king salmon. Oh, you're catching
silver salmon ain't
but
cutting it anymore,
salmon.
Jesse boy.
You're shit. I just caught a 70-pound silver salmon. I don't think those exist, but fucking I caught one, and they're that's nice, but we're looking for king salmon. But
we can no longer be satisfied.
The thing that is so fun and it's so stupid is you can ram other boats, and for whatever reason, when you hit the other boats, they go back to dock because like you damaged their boat, and it tells you that your boat is damaged. But I haven't seen like how many hits it takes for your boat to decide to go back to port. I've at least destroyed 4 boats, so like. There's like a secret like little mini game where you can just go and just ruin everyone's fishing trip.
I mean, like, wouldn't the actual bass fishing and shit that they show on ESPN be better if it involved people trying to hurt each other and destroy each other's boats? Like,
I can't tell you how many people's fishing trips I've ruined in real life.
But by ramming their boat, John, or just by your mere presence and disinterested fishing?
Just by being in their way as I kayak around them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that too.
See, that's what we need. Like, instead of a brand new fishing sim, what we need is Twisted Metal on boats.
Oh,
yep. Twisted Boatle. It's it needs to happen.
I think it'd be Twisted Fiberglass is what it would be.
Shh. Quiet, boat boy. Nobody wants to know what boats are made of. But yeah, a bunch of rat ass boats trying to kill each other, and the last one standing gets to catch a fish. It's a pretty great idea.
And the winner gets a 12-pack of Bush.
You're basically like fighting for dominance for the perfect fishing spot.
Yeah. It's just like a big glowing fishing spot. It's like, you're just like shooting each other with rocket launchers trying to land a fucking line there. Like that sounds actually really fun.
By the time you get there, all the commotion has scared all the fish away, and the real lesson is there's plenty of ocean for everybody.
Yeah. Could have caught a perfectly good fish right there. If you weren't trying to kill each other.
That helps to be like nautical weapons, though, like flare guns and harpoon guns and cannons and stuff. But
they need to explode.
Catapult that launches sea mines.
Torpedoes.
Yeah. A kraken.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you could have like super moves that release certain like animals, like a big shark, a kraken, a like sperm whale, or an orca.
Like a fucking giant squid.
You said that with such excitement, too. It's like, yeah, torpedoes and like flare guns, a kraken.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hey, David, you ever think about how cool it would be to ride and subjugate a kraken? Like, it'd be pretty cool.
It'd be so dope.
Yeah,
like a giant comical anchor.
Popeye.
See, that's like all the characters like Twisted Metal would just be weird stereotype like characters. So you'd have like the redneck fisher hunters, you'd have like California surfer people, an ex-Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Don't forget the rich guy with the yacht.
Oh man,
yes.
We're gonna win this competition.
I want to see the ex-Navy SEAL. He's like all fucked up and says weird shit the whole game. Like, I could kill you with this knife right now if I wanted to.
You're holding a spoon.
It's like, sir, we're just standing on St. George Street. Why are you talking to me like this?
No, all of his dialogue
stop.
is just like, and like the text box comes up and it's just question mark, question mark, question mark.
I like it. I support all these ideas. So, we need that. We need a King Salmon remake for current gen. I know E3 just passed, but maybe we can get somebody working on this for the next one. I think, modern update, massively multiplayer online King Salmon 99.
99.
Where y'all have Twisted Metal weapons. Let's have it.
King Salmon Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
perfect for
Fortnite,
Switch.
but King Salmon. It's just
God.
dropping boats into a big fucking lake.
No, it's literally Fortnite, so it's just dropping boats into a field, and then you get off the boats to fight.
Right, you just kill each other, and then eventually you win a salmon. It's great.
You get dropped in a lake, and the lake is shrinking because of global warming. And it's
perfect.
Like environmental lesson is what it is.
Oh, no.
Right. No silver salmon's going to save us. Anyway, Jesse, fantastic pick. Anything else on King Salmon?
Not really. I just wanted to put the soundtrack in the radio because it's really good.
I like that. That's a good motivation tonight. I think that might be a recurring theme. Johnny, let's keep going.
Game 3.
I think I may have fucked up.
No, you
No,
got
it's
it, man.
fine.
Just keep rolling with it.
Okay.
Giovanni Ribisi ass motherfucker.
So, this game features two composers, Patrick J. Collins and Michael Giacchino, who is well known for composing the Star Trek reboot movies, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh, that's what he's.
So who has those guesses ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Also, I apologize if I mispronounced his name and it threw anyone off.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
So Jesse says gargoyles, John Harrington says gargoyles, and John Regan says gorgoglets.
This is gargoyles.
Okay. That's a hat trick.
Yes, Johnny says gargles.
I don't know if it's just your handwriting or if you've had that much to drink.
It's both.
It's his handwriting. It's piss miserable, and it always has been.
Yeah.
So anyway, gargles.
So this is Gargoyles for the Genesis. And interestingly, because there are a lot of Disney games coming out at this time, because we had, Lion King, Jungle Book, Aladdin. Maybe there was a Beauty and the Beast game?
There were 2 on Genesis. There was one where you played as Beast and one where you played as Belle.
Really?
There was a Beauty and the Beast game. So this came out like in that same time frame. It was 1995. They were working on a Super NES port, but it never happened. So this is one of the few Disney games that is a Genesis exclusive.
Ooh.
And I'm sorry, John, you look like you were going to say something.
I was going to say it's one of the few Genesis games to have an Academy Award-winning composer.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was looking. I was like, why does that name sound so familiar? And I was like, oh my god! But right. he composed a lot of video game stuff, like in his early career.
I was going to use him for an episode of GTT Gems with Tai Fu, Wrath of the Tiger. An edgy PlayStation game where you play as a cool karate doing tiger. And I'm like, oh, why does that name Michael Giacchino sound familiar? Oh, Academy Award-winning composer Michael Giacchino. Wow. So
yeah, he also did like a bunch of Medal of Honor games and a couple of Call of Duties, apparently, as well as a Jurassic Park game. So,
and we're tiptoeing around the fact that he won an Oscar for Up. So,
that's
good flick, good score. Pixar's first miscarriage, and
that's
classic.
Why, I tried to tiptoe around it because he did Up, he did Zootopia, he did The Incredibles, and I didn't want to say it's like, oh yeah, he also did a whole bunch of Disney movies. Hint, hint.
Right. Yes. But yeah, so Gargoyles though. David, did you play this or watch this cartoon a shitload?
I watched this cartoon a shitload, and I remember as a kid watching this, I feel like this is over my head. Especially when it got to tying into a lot of Celtic and Shakespearean mythology. But it was a really cool show, and the game is pretty fun. It's like an action platform game where you play as Goliath. And it's hard as balls, but not in an unfair way.
Is it hard as stone?
I feel like there should be a sound effect.
Jeez,
it's more hard when you play it during the day, and it really comes to life at night. Sure, let's go with that.
I feel like it would take you 1,000 years to complete.
My man. And also Keith David.
That is the most appropriate Keith David sound we have.
God, can we get Keith David doing Colossus?
Can we get Keith David on the show?
Hey, is he on Cameo?
Oh, man, I hope so. I'm going to go look right now. You guys talk about gargoyles amongst yourselves.
But, so it's like an action platform game, and you control... It's not like a simple jump attack. You can use your wings to kind of hover and get an extra jump. You can climb up on the walls. You can latch to the ceiling. You can claw. So there's a lot of moves to do. So that's kind of where the game gets tricky. It's not unfairly hard. It's just there's a lot going on, and you have to be aware of what your character can do and how to react to everything. But it starts off, you play in the initial levels are the original Scottish Highland castles. And then it gets to the modern day, so you're scaling skyscrapers and fighting robots and shit. it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, sounds cool. I mean, who was it made by? I didn't actually notice that because it's Buena Vista and Disney. It's got if it's made by that same company that was making like Lion King, then I could see it being a good hard game. Unlike Aladdin for Genesis, which was just a bad game.
No.
There, I said it. It needed to be said.
Hot take.
It's a great-looking bad game, man.
No, you're wrong. It's a great-looking great game.
No, it's not.
Level design is shit in Genesis.
Yeah. You got nothing, John. You're speechless.
He was finishing his beer.
Well, the one thing I know about Gargoyles is it's famously not compatible with the Sega Genesis Model 3. And that's the beginning and end of my Gargoyles knowledge.
Oh, okay. Well, no, we're talking. I am now debating you about whether or not Aladdin for Genesis sucks. I argue it does.
I'm not going to debate it because you're just wrong. Like, it's a great game. It's amazing.
No, it looks nice. It plays like shit. The level design is shit. The SNES game, they took it and flipped it. It looks like ass, but it plays like a great Capcom platformer. So, I will not be swayed.
Which version had the sword and which version had you tossing apples?
Genesis.
SNES version had you tossing apples because that's all you need, baby. Fuck a sword.
No, that's not a good idea. Don't do that.
You only need a sword to kill the snake at the end. Aladdin doesn't use a sword. No, Jesse, no. But yeah, Aladdin doesn't use a sword. He uses his wits and cunning. He doesn't fucking just slash him up. That's nonsense. He's not Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. He's a street rat.
He doesn't have apples. He steals a loaf of bread and then gives it away.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going on the fucking strict like movie interpretation, so he's not throwing breadcrumbs at people, but it makes more sense to him for him to have some apples in his damn pocket than it does for him to be killing people with a sword.
Aladdin doesn't use a sword. He never had one in the movie. He didn't have apples in the movie. Okay, what's your point? Like, what are you trying to get at? We're not following the movie here.
I would love.
I didn't say anything about him not having a sword in the movie. I'm saying he only needs the sword to kill the snake Jafar. He only uses it at the end. He doesn't fucking, it makes more sense for it. I mean, look at those puffy pants. They hold a lot of apples. Like, it makes perfect sense. Why are we arguing about this? Let's argue about gargoyles. Yeah.
How many apples do you throw as a gargoyle?
You don't. You slash with your giant monster claws.
Okay, see, that's cool.
Possibly a better attack than apple throwing.
If Aladdin had giant monster claws, he'd use those too, but he doesn't. He didn't ask for those. He didn't wish for that.
No.
I wish for giant monster claws.
What's your second wish? I don't know. I didn't think I'd need anything after this.
Good. I'm good. Want to fuck that princess? Really? I just gave you giant monster claws. It's gonna be a challenge, man.
Give you giant monster mitts, and then we're fine.
Because I can't touch my dick with these claws. You got all fucked up. I would have wished for that thing to be fixed.
You always have to blow a second wish on doing that giant monster claw wish. Fool. Yeah, man, Gargoyles is cool though.
Gargoyle, it's really well animated, and what I thought was cool is they use different animation styles for the enemies, because like Vikings and like normal enemies are all kind of hand-drawn sprites, but then eventually you fight robots that are CG, so it gave them like a different look and made them seem more modern, because like obviously those enemies don't show up in the ancient times. Those are only modern enemies, so it kind of like gives it a different feel.
Right.
Cool.
But yeah, it was a pretty fun game, and it was like the last in a long line of Disney games for that era, which I suppose brings us to our lightning round. Lightning round! Because if there's one thing the Genesis is known for, it's really fun Disney games. And if there's a second thing it's known for, it is the heyday of Sonic the Hedgehog. And if those two things are known for anything, it is fun cartoon animals. So I've got a list and I'm going to give you the name of a cartoon animal, and you got to tell me if this is a Disney animal or a Sonic animal.
Ooh, okay.
So we are gonna start off with John Harrington, Styx the Badger.
Oh, that's from Sonic.
That is correct. I should make sure that I'm keeping score. We've got John Regan next. Pascal the Chameleon.
That is not Sonic. The other one.
Okay, you're given 2 choices.
Yeah, so it's Sonic or not Sonic, right? Like, those are the 2 choices. So it's not Sonic.
I kind of want to deduct a point from you, but that is correct.
Deduct one for his Aladdin take. I'm right.
Jesse, Bean the Duck.
Sonic.
That is correct. John Harrington, Sally the Chipmunk.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Well, the way John says it makes me think it's Sonic.
Ah.
God damn it.
That is correct.
Hey, you fucking idiot.
I'll shut up. I'll shut up.
John Regan, Todd the Fox.
Not Sonic.
God damn it. Say the right choice.
What was the right choice? Disney?
Disney.
Disney.
Yes.
It's Disney then.
It's either a gargoyle or it's a Sonic.
Jesse, Norman the Polar Bear.
Ooh. Disney.
That is sadly incorrect.
Damn it.
He was a
Who
character
the hell is
in
Norman
Sonic.
Polar Bear?
He is a character from Sonic Rush Adventure on the DS.
Oh, yeah.
John,
Take
Harry the Platypus.
Disney. Why not?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Johnny, Figaro the Cat.
Disney?
That is correct. Jesse, Deacon the Crow.
Ooh.
Disney.
That is correct. He's one of the singing crows from Dumbo.
But that also sounds like a Sonic name. Like
It
Deacon
does.
the Crow sounds like it would be in like Sonic Riders or some shit. It's like, oh wait, famously racist crows. That adds up too.
John, Froggy the Frog.
Hey, can it be both? No, I think it's Sonic.
That is correct. You lucked out on that one. Johnny, Marine the Raccoon.
Ooh. I think that's Disney.
That is incorrect.
Ah.
Yeah.
Jesse, Jet
You're Aladdin
the Hawk.
Sonic.
That is correct. Final round. John Harrington, Ben Ali the Alligator.
Ben Ali?
Yes,
Sounds like Disney.
that is correct.
Yeah.
Dancing alligator from Fantasia.
Oh, okay.
Johnny,
I was thinking Princess and the Frog, but hey, I'll take it.
Johnny, Judy the Rabbit.
I think it's Sonic.
That is incorrect. Also known as Judy Hopps from Zootopia.
Ah.
Oops.
And finally, Jesse, Chip the Fairy.
Like the boat.
Disney.
That is incorrect. That is the helper imp from Sonic Unleashed.
Oh. That
Nice.
game.
So,
Of course.
John Harrington gets 5 bonus points. John Regan and Jesse both get 3.
Unbelievable.
That
David,
was a
I fully
clean
support
sweep,
that lightning
John.
round. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, my friend. That worked out very well for me. Man, I almost feel like I don't need to come up with a 5th game to replace the snapped one from the beginning of the night. But good lightning round, David. That was pretty excellent. Anything else on Gargoyles and how it's a better game than Aladdin on the Genesis?
It's a bit of a hard game until you get the controls. Then it's a pretty damn fun game. If you haven't checked it out, I would check it out.
Jesse, I demand you check it out.
Okay.
You're the one doing the most game. You're the one doing the most game streaming now. So, one of us should check it out. Johnny, work on the online multiplayer aspect of it. Let's have some online. Is it multiplayer?
John, add multiplayer to this Genesis game.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
That I can
Thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah. John, let's work on that Gargoyles maker that we can all play online together.
Gargoyles Battle Royale.
John Regan,
Yes.
famous ROM hacker.
Yes. 99 Gargoyles coming soon to patreon.com/GameThatTune. And fantastic pick, man. So, Johnny, let's keep it moving, man. What do we got next?
Game 4.
All right, so this is the last game in the series to feature top-down gameplay areas. All right, how you guys feeling about that?
Oh, pretty good.
Iffy.
Yep. Good. Any additional trivia as you're holding your answers up? Nope. Everybody's ready. David says Golden Axe 3. He's incorrect. Jesse says Desert Strike. He's incorrect. Johnny has the correct answer. It's Thunder Force 2.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, my man. So Johnny, you big Thunder Forcer?
Yes. I've played.
As long as there are no follow-up questions. Yeah, no, this falls into the category that I was going with for the night of that's got a good soundtrack. Because yeah, I don't know anything about these games.
They're hard.
That I do know. Things I know about the Thunder Force games: hard, side-scrolling, shoot 'em up. So
Pretty.
when I was reading about this one, and it had and great soundtrack. And so when I was reading about this one, it's like, oh, it had top-down sections where you have to like kind of free roam and blow up bases. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like that doesn't sound very good. You know. And I was watching a video of it, and yeah, it doesn't look very good. Yeah. But the side-scrolling shit, it's that classic hard Thunder Force shit. And yeah, it's just got that raucous fucking soundtrack, man. I dig it. As I was researching this, I was getting really confused with Shining Force. I guess just because of the word force. And Thunder Force and Shining Force, as it turns out, completely different games.
Very.
It actually initially I forgot that David was gonna do the lightning round tonight. I'm like, maybe I can do a lightning round where I just put out information about Thunder Force and Shining Force, and you have to tell me which game it relates to. Because apart from the fact that one's a strategy game and one is a shoot 'em up game, if I just gave you a bunch of nonsense about the plot, it'd be like, oh yeah, that oh shit, that could be anything. So it's like, in Thunder Force, you fight against the Orn Empire, and they have a powerful new weapon called the Plealos. It's like that could be Shining Force. It's the last game in the series to feature top-down gameplay. Like, oh well, if you don't know a whole lot about Shining Force, maybe that could be it. I don't know. But it's not that. It's Thunder Force. It's a bullet hell shmuppy type thing. Jesse, have you played some of these? Or
Yeah. I've definitely played 3 a lot, but
okay. I think that's the one. I think 3 and 4 are the ones that everybody loves. Because I don't even think as I was picking the songs from the soundtrack, I'm like, this is pretty good. It's not Thunder Force 3 and 4 good, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's it's cool, and it was a launch title for the Genesis in America, so I'm sure everyone had it. Like they were sitting there looking like Sonic and Golden Axe, and they're like, what about this Thunder Force 2? Yeah, let's all buy that too. That makes sense.
This is a brand new console. Here's a sequel. I need to play that.
Right. How could there possibly be a sequel? This is the first system that Sega has ever published. There couldn't possibly be precedent for this series. Johnny, I'm trying to bait you into getting mad that nobody knows what the Master System is, but you're not taking that bait.
I really don't know this series.
So it's fine. You don't have to.
It's like, this is the first console that Sega's ever released while your friend from Brazil is just screaming at you.
Yeah. Good point. But yeah, I don't know. There's really not much to say about the series. It's shoot 'em ups. It's cool fucking technosoft fucking soundtracks. I mean, it's I feel like there's no other games on the system that sound like that. Like whoever they got composing these games, which I really should have looked up to discuss this properly. They fucking crushed it. Like, crap, where'd it go? Thunder Force 2. From no listed composer. Fuck. Mysterious Stranger crushed that soundtrack.
Okay.
God damn you, Wikipedia. You're not helping me run this show at all. This is going so well. I'm worried that we don't need a fifth game. I think
No,
maybe
we definitely need a
we
fifth game because I snapped the other one out of existence.
Okay, but we shouldn't just go to the calculating computer. I got nothing on Thunder Force 2. Hold on, let me think on this for a minute. I might have something.
Don't we have
just game 5?
Game 5?
Oh, what's that?
It's actually just game 5, but whatever.
I know, but
All right, so this is our fan request for the evening. This one comes to us from a frequent YouTube shower upper, Mega X Chrono, over there at GTT Radio. So thank you very much for this request. And this game is much longer than the first game and more free roaming. It did away with the previous game's chapter system so the player can return to previously visited parts of the world. How is everybody feeling?
Pretty good.
There ain't no shot like a shot in the dark.
Hey, man, that ties in with your gargoyles. I like it. Let's see. David says The Legend of Oasis, which is unfortunately incorrect, because Johnny and Jesse both have the correct answer. It's Shining Force 2.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Not to be confused with Thunder Force 2. And not that it ever was by anybody but me.
They're very similar games.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
basically
totally
the same
similar.
thing.
Let's do a lightning round to discuss the similarities. No, let's not. Yeah, man. Shining Force 2. It's that game. Johnny, tell us all about Shining Force.
Well, I know it's a tactical RPG. I know that much. And I think there is a lot of similarities with Zelda because I think there's like a crazy sword you got to get, much like in Zelda games. And the soundtrack sounded very Zelda-esque.
I don't believe it has much to do with Zelda in any way except a fantasy setting and swords.
Well, that's all Zelda is, John.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, but like, you know, it looks and reminds me a lot of Fire Emblem. Like these, you know, not just because of the strategy RPG setting, but also there's so many fucking characters in this game. Like, I could have made a lightning round out of this if I had known I was using it on the show before 3 minutes ago. You know, like I was looking at the wiki. There's like 20 fucking characters listed here, and you like try to recruit them all. I don't know if this game has permadeath, if they come and go or what, but like, you know, there's a lot of fucking people in this game. I like it. But that is to say, I don't know anything about it. Jesse, did you ever play Shining Force or Shining Force 2?
Just a little bit. It's basically what you said, Fire Emblem on the Genesis. You know, you have the tactical battles, and then the actual attacks pull away Fire Emblem style. So you see like cool, nicely animated your characters doing something to another character or vice versa.
I like it.
So yeah, it's very Fire Emblem-y.
You'd like it when you see a character doing something to another enemy. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, we've established that. If you can't can't see your character do the thing, Jesse ain't into it.
I'm surprised that the Dragon Quest characters, you can actually see them when they fight in the new Smash Brothers game.
That would be actually a nice touch, as if they were just windows that you had to fight with. And
or at least
other characters took damage for no apparent reason.
Their final smash cut to like the battle window.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
But yeah, Jesse's not into all those POV RPGs. he likes to see the other characters. But yeah, man, this worked out because seriously, I was researching both this and Thunder Force 2 because I'm like, okay, I might be the only person that got these confused because they're radically different games, but like they both have good soundtracks. Like these seem like good picks for the show, like classic Genesis shit. I didn't even know really about the strategy RPGs like fucking as a concept back in 1992 or whenever this came out. Like when I was watching this, I'm like, so wait a minute, they were doing Fire Emblem shit as far back as this, like little battle grids and moving around and RPG battles like son of a bitch. I would have never had the patience for that when I was a kid. Like, I had to have Secret of Mana, some active battles, or nothing, man. But it looks cool, and I like all the characters. I'm a little disappointed that this one doesn't let you play as Jogurt. Does anybody remember the last time we talked about Shining Force and we talked about Jogurt?
Oh yeah.
I take that as an oh yeah with no follow up. Yeah, it's just he's a little hamster wearing a helmet.
That's right.
Oh
okay.
yeah,
he's not useful.
If you say Jogurt, then I'm like lost. But if you say the hamster and the helmet, that sticks with me. Like that I recognize.
Yeah. I was hoping Jogurt would jar your memory. You'd be like, wait a minute, we're not talking about Spaceballs, we're talking about Shining Force. Oh, Jogurt, the hamster wearing a helmet.
So are fans of Jogurt called Jogurt Lows?
Oh no. Now that's a gathering I want to attend. Fucking gathering of the Jogurt Lows.
Oh my god.
It's just a bunch of Shining Force nerds all wearing helmets.
Oh my god.
I'm there.
But yeah, I do love me some Jogurt. Jogurt from Planet Yogurt, a hamster wearing a helmet that does nothing. Yeah, good inclusion. But sadly, he's not amongst the people in Shining Force, which I quite frankly I use that as marks against it. Like, you're gonna have a game with no Jogurt, like you better have something equally stupid to take its place. Like, there better be some kryptonite poop in the game or something. Like, there needs to be something really dumb if you're not going to include Jogurt in the game. Like, how are you going to lead with Jogurt and then like not include something like that in the next game? I don't get it. But yeah, the characters that are in the game, I mean, seriously, I could have done a lightning round where I just make up a fucking name or like choose a name from like a musician or something and see whether or not they're in Shining Force 2. Because seriously, Bowie, Sarah, Chester, Jaha, Kazan, Slade, Kiwi, Peter, May, Geralt, Luke, Rhodey, Rick, Elric, Eric, Karna, Randolph, Tywin. Oh, it could have been Game of Thrones or Shining Force. That's a good one.
Shit, that was
bad. Is there another game? Oh shit!
Oh no!
We already used the lightning round sound, so now the new lightning round is a bonus game.
This lightning round is just me naming characters from Shining Force 2. Higgins, Screech, Frasier.
Right now, is it
goes on
TV
like
shows or Shining Force? Screech.
Oh yeah, it could have been Saved by the Bell or Shining Force. Lisa Turtle. Oh, that's tough, man.
Don't you remember when you go into the cave and you talk to the ancient wizard, Mr. Belding?
God,
Zach Morris in Shining Force 2.
Dude, a Saved by the Bell tactical RPG would have been pretty good. You get to talk to the camera all the time. Like, that's good. Yeah, you instead of limit break, you get a fourth wall break. It would have been a good game.
That's how every battle starts. Is you just turn to the camera and go, "Well, we're gonna battle now."
Yeah,
and then it just cuts back.
But anyway, Shining Force, cool games. A genre of games I literally didn't know existed this far back. Shining Force 2 loses points, no Jogurt, and good soundtrack, fantastic tunes. literally does sound like Zelda on the Genesis. I'm pretty sure that second song was like just Zelda redone for like the Genesis sound chip. I don't know who we need to contact about the 27-year-old plagiarism, but I think Nintendo would love to shut these people down on YouTube. So we'll look into that. But in the meantime, Johnny, I think now it is finally time to send it over to the calculating computer.
Calculating computer activated. Computers. Beeps. Boops.
Damn it, John.
Scoring complete. This game's winner is John Regan.
I love it. I love when the computer curses your name and you still win the game.
It's upset that I won.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the calculated computer that spoils a coming Johnny win. But yeah, no, I mean, this is an appropriate win. Johnny's our other Sega guy. He really knows his various forces, whether they're shining or thundering. Mm-hmm. He clearly can write the word gargoyle and make it legible. He deserves to win this game. He's aces tonight, man. Clean sweep by Johnny. So excellent game, John. And you get to pick the theme for the next episode, which I shudder to think, because you've been so bad at picking themes lately. I'm really reluctant to allow this to happen.
I'm so excited.
I think after a Sega Genesis show, it's only fair that we bring in the other big 16-bit player, the TurboGrafx 16. No,
nice.
No, honestly, I don't know anything about that shit. We'll do that on another show. I vote we do Super Nintendo games next week to do kind of a John and David theme. More John than David.
I was gonna say, I never had a Super Nintendo until college, so clearly that's what I'm all about.
Lump him in. Yeah, it's cool. Oh man, yeah, no, that's perfect. Why not Super Nintendo? If we're just gonna do system-based themes, I like all things equal between Super Nintendo and Sega. That's the way I was raised.
Now, to clarify, we're not going to allow any games from the Super Nintendo CD add-on the Super CD. That's not, or the PlayStation, I think is what it actually is.
What about unreleased Super Nintendo games that maybe were recently released in America via a translated collection?
No, and no Felix the Cat game, or Socks the Cat game either.
Shit! Okay, I'm going to have to come up with something else. I'm sure I have something for that. So excellent choice, man. Thank you for that theme. I appreciate that theme.
I love the fact that we had to clarify the theme is Super Nintendo, so no PlayStation.
Because the PlayStation was the Super Nintendo CD, basically.
Yes, that is the joke. Where's that drop?
No CDI games.
Yeah, we're gonna need to really get a McBain drop for when you guys over-explain the joke. Because we've been doing it for 158 episodes. Maybe we don't need to draw attention to it now. Thank you all for listening. What an episode! What a night! Thank you for everybody watching along live with us. We're live every Wednesday night. Twitch.tv, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, all/GameThatTune. Find us there. Check us out. Join us live. Thanks to everybody chatting along live with us in our Discord server. We appreciate you guys hanging out there. And thank you to everybody who's going to be listening in podcast form. Our podcasts are available in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts on Wednesday mornings. And we do appreciate you checking us out there. Thanks to everybody checking out patreon.com/GameThatTune. It's the home for awesome exclusives. We've got GTT Gems. We've got Jesse's Covered Up series. Every now and then we publish a mixtape. We're going to get that movie commentary thing going here again soon. I swear it's going to happen. Not tomorrow night, but at some point soon. And yeah, we got a lot of fun going on over there at patreon.com/GameThatTune. So check us out there. Throw us a couple of bucks, unlock some fun exclusives, help support the show, support our 24/7 video game music stream over on YouTube, which I know so many people like to use and not patronize us for. It's fine. It's why we do it. We're great people. But special thanks to the truly great people, our super fans over on Patreon: Alex Messenger, Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens. You're truly great people. And we appreciate you guys being patrons. Thank you to our 2 requesters tonight, both from YouTube, who I just said likes to listen and not patronize this. I'm not demanding that you guys patronize this, but thank you for the requests. Those requests will now be added to the YouTube streams, so check out GTT Radio for some fantastic new music. Thank you, Kelly and Mega X Chrono, for the requests. They sent us their requests via YouTube. But you can also email us requests, gamethattune@gmail.com. You can hit us up in our Discord request server. You can hit us up on Twitter at gamethattune, or you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm there at jgangsta187. You can find Jesse Moore on Twitter at
Sega_legend.
You can find David Fleming on Twitter at
EFD Fleming.
And you can find John Regan, this week's winner, absorbing the Sega Legend title from Jesse, but not stealing his Twitter handle, on Twitter at
JP Regan Jr.
Fantastic, John. So you've got bonus tunes, and it can't be the same bonus tunes you used the last time. There's rules against that. So I would like to hear what we are going home with.
So my favorite sound clip on the soundboard is the intro to the Mario 2 theme. So I've queued up the Mario 2 theme from the Super Mario All-Stars version of Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Super Nintendo.
It ties in perfectly. I don't believe it. Peace out, everybody. Man, I was hoping you had the extended version. I was looking forward to like 9 more minutes of that. Amazing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin is copyright 1993 Technopop Incorporated and Sega. Superman is copyright 1992 Sunsoft. King Salmon is copyright 1993 Vic Takai Incorporated. Gargoyles is copyright 1995 Buena Vista Interactive. Thunder Force 2 is copyright 1989 Technosoft. Shining Force 2 is copyright 1993 Camelot Company Limited and Sega.
I do have, if you want it, the big band version of Super Mario Bros. 2.
Play it!
Yeah!
A little more mellow than I was expecting.
Oh, just wait. It won't be mellow very long.